Hello and welcome back to mytruejournals.com's Introduction to Meditation video series. Today we're going to be exploring a meditation technique known as Zazen. So Zazen roughly translates to seated meditation and is the main form of meditation that is practiced as part of Zen Buddhism. You've probably heard of Zen because in the English language the word Zen has kind of become a word of its own, which is synonymous to things like calm, or being relaxed, or even kind of everything being in its right place, a very Japanese kind of Buddhist perspective on things. People are known as being somewhat Zen if they're a very relaxed person, but at the end of the day, Zen actually translates roughly into simply meditation. So as you can probably gather from that, the main focus of Zen Buddhism, at least in Japan, is meditation. So the majority of time spent in Zen Buddhist monasteries is spent working and meditating. The word Zen comes from the Chinese root word of Chan, which I may or may not be pronouncing correctly, but Chan Buddhism, which began in China, kind of hopped across sea to Japan and then became Zen as we know it today. Zen Buddhism is very well known in the West because there was a huge scholarly interest in Zen Buddhism during the 20th century. A lot of Zen Roshis or masters made the trip mostly to the US but also to the UK and even Australia as well, and started to disseminate Zen teachings among people there, and Zen Buddhism has become very popular in the West as a result. So Zazen or Zen Buddhist meditation is quite a broad and complex subject the more and more you get into it, but in its most basic form it's what we'll be practicing today, and it's essentially focusing on the breath, kind of like we did in our second session, but with the intent of eventually focusing on a sensation of complete emptiness in the mind. And by fostering this sensation of emptiness, a lot of Zen Buddhists believe that you can then find enlightenment or answer life's important questions. The list goes on, it's quite complex, but we're going to keep it very simple today, and there are a lot of different ways in which you can enter into Zen and learn Zazen. I'm just going to teach you today the way that I learned it when I was practicing Zen Buddhist meditation. It's a very simple counting exercise, and you should find it relatively easy to pick up. The other thing that will be unique about today's session is we're going to meditate with our eyes open. There's a lot of thought in the meditation community as to whether or not eyes should be open or closed during meditation, and it's really something that varies from tradition to tradition. So not all forms of Zazen, for example, will use the eyes open technique. Likewise, not all forms of, say, Tibetan Buddhist or even yogic meditation use the eyes closed. A lot of them have the eyes open. It really depends on the student's preferences and the teacher's preferences and the traditions of that technique. The way I learned Zazen is with the eyes open, and I'll explain how to do that in the upcoming audio guide portion of the segment. So please listen in and enjoy. Begin by sitting in your favorite, most comfortable seated meditation position. Your legs may be folded beneath you. You may be kneeling or sitting in a chair or against a wall. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. But just ensure that your spine is straight from the base of your pelvis to the top of your head, and allow your body to relax. Your shoulders are down and relaxed. Your jaw is relaxed as your mouth is gently closed. And you are breathing slowly and naturally through the nostrils. Your eyes are open, but not gazing forward. They are turned down, gazing down your nose at a 45-degree angle, focusing at a point just in front of you on the floor. If it helps, you may wish to place a shape or an object at this point that you can gaze at. But whatever you do, do not allow your eyes to wander from this point for the duration of this meditation session. This point is your focus point, and you will not remove your eyes from this point from the duration of the session. If you feel that your vision begins to blur, you can either allow it to do so, or you can blink and return to focusing on your visual focus point once more. Now that you have chosen your visual focus point, you will now focus your mind. Focus the entirety of your mind's attention on the breath as you gently inhale and gently exhale in through the nose and out through the nose, breathing naturally and in a relaxed manner. Simply observe the breath. Be one with the breath. And do not allow any other thoughts or sensations to interrupt your focus. If a thought does arise in your mind, observe the thought. Acknowledge the thought from a distance and allow this thought to pass away, focusing instead on the breath as it exists in the space between thoughts. So if a thought arises in your mind, imagine that you are returning your focus to the space that exists between that thought and the next thought, however far away that next thought may be. If you wish, you may count the seconds after you conjure a thought, but then interrupt your count, stop, and focus once more on nothing but the breath. To fully focus the mind, you'll begin to count the breaths. As you inhale, you will count the number 1, and as you exhale, you will count the number 2. Inhale 3, exhale 4, inhale 5,
Exhale 6, and so on until you reach the number 10. After you reach the exhalation on the number 10, begin to count again from 1. Treat this count as the empty space that exists between the thoughts that threaten to interrupt your focus. Inhaling 1, exhaling 2, 3, 4, and so on until you reach the number 10, and then begin again from 1. If a thought does arise and interrupt your count, simply begin again from the number 1, pouring all of your mental focus, all of your mental energy into simply counting the breaths, fostering a sense of emptiness and complete mental focus. If you feel that you are fully focused on the breath, you may wish to stop counting and instead simply be the breath. Become the breath and exist with it in this present moment. Focusing on a sensation of complete emptiness that you now experience within your mind as you sit with yourself, intent and completely focused. Linger for a moment longer on this sensation of complete emptiness as your mind expands and unfolds itself before you, as you develop a deeper and more focused understanding of the operations of your mind. But begin now to expand your awareness outwards once more, becoming fully aware of the breath as it is, inhaling and exhaling. Becoming aware once more of your physical body and of the space that you are currently occupying. Gently close your eyes now, removing your unbroken attention from your visual focus point. Allow yourself to take a few deep breaths, and when you feel comfortable, come out of meditation.
So I hope you enjoyed that brief introduction to Zazen meditation and didn't find it too difficult. As I said before, the eyes open technique may or may not work for you. As far as my students go, it's about 50-50. Probably 50% of my students really love the eyes open and 50% really dislike it and would rather have their eyes closed. I like to practice both just because I feel that you can get different benefits and enter into all sorts of different meditative states to varying degrees depending on whether your eyes are open or your eyes are closed. So I encourage you to give it a try. Also, the counting the breath technique that we just did isn't the only way to learn Zen meditation, but as I said before, it's the way that I learned it, and I find that it's a really kind of relaxing and methodical way to enter into that sensation of emptiness, that sensation of oneness with the breath, and that being the breath. So I hope you all enjoyed that technique, and if it worked for you, continue to practice it in the future. So that's all for this session, and as usual, please like, comment and subscribe below if you'd like to see more. Please do not hesitate to ask me any questions you have about meditation in general, and I will endeavour to answer them as soon as I can. So until next time, thank you very, very much.